Hola bandidos, ¿cómo estamos? Welcome to Mel's Magic. This is episode 11 from season 3, déjà. I'm happy to be back here. I've had a week of no video uploading, and quite frankly, I've missed it. Pero como somos artista responsable, since we are a responsible artist, or at least trying to be, nos hemos ocupado de papeleo. I've been trying to be pragmatic and I've faced paperwork head on, a little bit to the detriment of my creativity. One of the outlets being this channel. Fin. There's a lot to catch up on. Let me tune in a bit. Let's start with a workshop I had yesterday, which I did in collaboration with a friend. And interestingly enough, the workshop was on anger and the healthy expression of anger. If we treat anger as energy, it's a very powerful force. The trick, though, is really to know how to creatively or productively channel that energy. Because if we don't know how to manage anger, if we either repress it, it hurts ourselves, and it will come out as an explosion at some point down the line. So the healthiest way is to access my anger, recognize it for what it is, express myself, because it has to do with boundaries, trespassing of boundaries, and then releasing it. So that's the ideal scenario, but I'm not sure how many times in my life I've dealt with it in a healthy way yet. But let's say I'm better in recognizing the buildup of anger, and I'm more able to channel it before it gets out of control. My tendency in the past used to be to swallow it, which added to a huge layering of repressed emotions and depression. And interestingly enough, well, obviously enough, if you look at the emotional scale, we have joy on the upper scale, very high vibe emotions, feelings, and then we have right down there shame, powerlessness. Anger is a scale up from powerlessness, and they call it a cover emotion actually. So anger is still in a way healthier than utter powerlessness, but it's on the negative end of the scale. What was my point? Lost my point, guys. Anyway, yes, my point was that once I got out of one way I knew that I was on my way out of the depression was when I started to feel a huge surge of anger and maybe rage, which I personally was scared of. I'm like, oh my God, I'm angry? I was surprised, I was shocked to realize I was actually angry. And that had to do with a lifelong allowing of my own boundary trespassing. So I allowed others to trespass my boundaries. So I betrayed myself essentially. And that created a lot of aggression against myself, a lot of self-hate, self-loathing, which is very dangerous. And it meant that I was turning against myself. But once I was able to accept that anger and release it, it was a relief, to say the least. And it meant the first step on my recovery out of the depression. So I'm speaking about anger because yesterday we had a workshop on anger and we had 3 participants. And the beautiful thing about sharing openly from a space of honesty with other people in a safe space is that you realize just how similar we are, how we go through similar challenges, similar suffering. And I'm not saying that suffering unites us in a way that it should disempower us, but no, you realize that you're not alone. You're not the only person experiencing these things. We are human beings, so we go through similar basic archetypal experiences. And when you connect to others and you share in that way, I guess there's a sense of, yeah, there's a sense of connection that, hey, I'm not I'm not alone in this. And I'm getting better at seeing my anger as actually a friend, not something to avoid, but something to listen to. Just like pain is a messenger, not to be killed, pain and anger are emotions we need to listen to. I mean, we should listen to all of our emotions and feelings. It takes courage to do that, really. But when anger raises its head, we need to listen. What is the boundary that's being trespassed? Boundaries are there to delimit where myself ends and someone else begins. If it weren't for boundaries, we would just be like a chewing gum of mixed energy. No, I mean, we all come from source, and we're all connected, but essentially we are in this physical body as a unique expression of this source energy, and we have a unique way of seeing the world and perceiving the world. And that's the beauty of our individuality. And if it weren't for boundaries, we wouldn't know where it marks the a kind of, yeah, the extent to which you are yourself and something else begins. So your feelings, your desires, your wishes, they're all ways of, they're like a compass, they're a guidance system that tell us who we are. And I actually feel, I wouldn't say it's, yeah, it's anger. I feel anger because I realize there's a lot of times where I don't think I realize my own value. And there are still times where I think I'm not enough and that I need someone else. But after the workshop yesterday, I realized, God, you actually have everything you need, Melanie. You have all the skills, the talents, the empathy, the experience. You have enough to be able to give of yourself and to basically, you're of value and you have a lot of value to give to others. So the question is, do you value yourself enough to really see your worth, and let's say in a professional situation, to mark your boundary and set that worth, whether it be the time you invest, the energy you invest, and even the price tag you put on yourself. I mean, 3D world still works in terms of money. I mean, it's changing, but still, what is the value you give to yourself? What is the worth you set for yourself? Nobody can give that to you. I used to be a straight A student, straight A's all of my life, 2 masters. But essentially, I was coming from a need for external validation. I never felt worthy myself. I didn't give myself the value that only we ourselves can give to ourselves. So I felt empty, and I was looking for other people to give me that satisfaction, that approval stamp, that quality stamp. But I realize now, if I listen to my anger, I have everything I need and I have so much to give, and we just gotta focus and channel in the right direction. And thank God for emotions and feelings such as anger, because if it wasn't for the anger, I wouldn't know what next step to take. No? Same with pain. I'm trying to nowadays be really more present in my body and not go up here and race along with my mind, but come back to the body and sense, what am I feeling in a certain situation? Because that's my compass. I want to learn to perceive and to honor the feelings and learn how to also transcribe the feelings, because the body is the subconscious mind, doesn't speak necessarily in words, but in sensory perceptions. So if the more I get to know myself, the better I'm able to understand where my feelings are guiding me to, what feels right and what feels wrong, and not in a sense of judgment, but more in a sense of what is the direction I need to take. So I thank the anger I feel nowadays, because if I listen to it deeply, it shows me my boundary, it shows me that I'm enough, it shows me where my worth is, and it shows me which direction I need to take. So I guess my message to you for today is check in with yourself. If you feel anger, if you feel this surge of energy coming up to your chest, listen to it. Communicate to somebody else if a boundary has been trespassed. Make it clear for yourself first, and then communicate to others. Often other people don't even know that they're trespassing a boundary. How would they know? They can't enter your mind. But it's up to you to communicate, articulate yourself in an assertive and compassionate way. It doesn't have to be aggressive. In an assertive way. And people will, or should at least, respect that. If they don't, fara. When I con esto, I pulled 2 cards, which are, as usual, just spot on. This is from the Wild Unknown Tarot, Animal Tarot. I pulled the Father of Swords. Let me just look him up in the little guidance book, because the message was just so accurate. If I can. Vale. So, Father of Swords, fair, analytical. Like all the Swords family, the Father has a gift for perception. He has a distinct ability to remove himself emotionally from a situation so that he can truly see it from all angles. He's therefore respected by others, who usually describe him as fair or just. He's a responsible man with deep ties to his family. So I like this notion of fairness and justness. I feel anger is also there to... Anger rises up in us when we feel unfairly or unjustly treated. So in situations, especially professional situations, it's sometimes, or often I'm learning, necessary to take your emotional self out and look at the picture objectively and say, okay, is this fair for me? If I feel anger, in what way am I being treated unfairly? So Father of Swords is a good reminder. E, from the Enchanted Oracle deck, I pulled the One Ring Circus. See this lady sitting on this elephant? So the One Ring Circus, I feel, is a reminder that, as I said earlier, we often have everything we need, and yet we doubt our ability. If we just believe in our talent and our skills, and it doesn't have to be perfect, whatever we put out there. I mean, look at me with my channel. I've been refining it as I go along. But I'm proud of myself because I didn't wait for the perfect time to start. I just said, okay, screw it. I'm gonna record myself and see what happens, and I'm proud of it. It's something I feel passionate about. And there's never the right or perfect time. We gotta seize the moment. I also listened to this video of Teal Swan today where she basically put it very crudely. I like that about her, very, no BS. Like, what if we were to die in a year? Remember my Memento Mori video, the first video of season 1? Memento Mori. Who are we to think that we have all the time in the world? This doesn't mean rush and feel burdened, but be present and go for your dreams. I'm really gonna just take life more by the balls and focus on what really makes me feel passionate, what makes me feel alive. I don't want to go to my grave with not having lived. I mean, we're going to die anyway. Let's face it, we're going to transition from this physical body. What is it that we will do with the time we have while we have it, while we're still alive? I want to live. And one way of really feeling alive is going into your feelings, having the courage to feel all of the feelings and to trust them and to follow them. Because the feelings are our internal guidance system. Without feelings, we're just robots, we're zombies. Vale? So that's my message of today. And I will I will include some photos of my workshop yesterday so you can see what we were up to. Vale? I wish you all the best and no more slacking with Mel's Magic. Episode 12 coming up soonest. Vale. Os quiero mucho y os veo pronto. Un beso. Oh, Al and I, of course, both of us say hello.